Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Only, 3 days to go now? It's the 7th of June today. 3 days to go, 10th of June, and the transfer window officially opens. That means officially deals can be done right across Europe. And of course, the window opens all the way down till the 1st of September. I'll be here every day all the way to the 1st of September. Geez, it's going to be a long slog this summer. Or maybe not, because Arsenal do need a lot of players. And, so far incomings have been very slim. The only one really incoming at the moment is Saliba, and we've already had him for 3 years. By the way, good to see him playing yesterday, starting for France. Had a decent game. They drew 1-1 with Croatia, but good to see him starting for France. At the age of 20, he's really had a great season. Let's hope he can come to the Emirates Stadium and replicate that as well, because the more quality in this team, the better. But another young player. And talking to young players, another player that looks like this could be done. This could be announced at the end of the week when the window does officially open, and that is Marquinhos. I've spoken about it on the show before. He plays for Sao Paulo over there in Brazil, and he's very, very highly rated. Can play on the left side. He can play on the right side as a winger. And as I said, very, very highly rated. And Arsenal managed to get him for an absolute snip, only £3 million. They've sort of exploited a little bit of a loophole where Sao Paulo thought they had him tied down to a 5-year contract. Unfortunately for them, they hadn't read the rules properly, and they would have realized that you can't tie a youngster of that age in Brazil down to such a long contract. And Arsenal have been able to pay a nominal fee to get this one done. There's been some confusion around the fact that he was said to have signed a pre-contract agreement with Wolves, but it looks like that's all been sorted out, and he could be announced as the first signing at the end of this week. Whether he's going to come into the first team or whether or not he's going to be sent straight out on loan is going to have to be something we're going to have to wait and see. When we bought Martinelli, that's what the plan was. First of all, was to send him straight out on loan. But he came, they saw him training, and they were like, hey, hold on a minute. This kid's good. He's ready right now to, play some first-team football. And the one thing we're going to have this year is things like the Europa League, where players like this may get a chance. But Marquinhos could be the first Arsenal signing this week, so look out for that. Now, another player that's been heavily linked with a move to Arsenal over the past couple of days has been Zinchenko. Oleksandr Zinchenko, of course, of Manchester City. Sadly for him, Ukraine were knocked out of the World Cup. So the Ukraine are not going to be in the World Cup. And he really impressed in a couple of games for them in those qualifiers, particularly in the game against Scotland, playing in that midfield role, not the left-back role that he plays for Manchester City, but playing in a midfield role. He looked really, really impressive indeed. And as the guys reported on yesterday's show, Mikel Arteta is looking to, this is according to the rumours, looking to lure him to Arsenal by promising him the fact that, listen, you'll be able to play in your favoured midfield role. And as I said, he looks really, really accomplished in there. There was one time when they did an interview with Kyle Walker, should I say, of Manchester City, and they were asking him about the most technical players at Man City, and he said, obviously, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Zinchenko. He said Zinchenko is technically brilliant. So could he be brought in as, say, a midfielder and then a player that could also cover that left-back position? It's always good to have those type of utility-type players, vastly experienced, as we know, has won, multiple trophies with Manchester City, would represent a great signing for me. But it's whether Zinchenko is going to want to come. And also, there's other clubs interested in him as well. I've seen that West Ham are one of those clubs interested. Newcastle are reported to be interested as well. But I really do look on it and think Zinchenko would be perfect for Arsenal. We need that type of experienced player, and a player like that to, would know the Premier League inside out. And I keep saying this is something to take into account this season. he won't be at the World Cup. The World Cup's going to be a big interruption for every Premier League team this season. And as I've said it before on this show, you you see even when a player plays in a summer World Cup, how long it takes them to recover from that. I really do think it's going to have a big effect on the Premier League this season. And if you're buying players and they're not at the World Cup and there are players of real quality, to me, that's an added bonus for this season. It could be just the sort of thing that gets you over the line. When the season resumes, you've got fresh players, ready to slot in and do a job. Now, talking of players, Bukayo Saka, he is our best player, in my opinion, right now at Arsenal Football Club. He's the prize asset at Arsenal Football Club. Now, big rumours everywhere today that Manchester City and Liverpool are both very interested in Saka. We've heard these rumours before. They've been sort of going on for a while, but everybody just sort of said, forget that, absolute rubbish. Arsenal would never sell. The problem is he's got 2 years remaining on his contract. And 2 years remaining on your contract when you've got an absolute top quality player spells danger if you haven't yet tied them down to a new deal, which so far Arsenal haven't tied him down to a new deal. Now, Manchester City are looking at it and they're thinking to themselves, number one, absolute top quality player, 20. What a player he'd be for the future. What a player he could come in right now. Imagine a team with him and Foden in it. They're licking their lips at that. Long-term replacement for Sterling, for Mahrez. And then Liverpool are looking on it and they're thinking, well, we could lose Mane. There's rumours I saw yesterday that Salah may not sign a new deal, and he's got the, coming into next year, going to only have 1 year left. So they're on the lookout. Now, the problem that we've got here now is we've got a top quality player, without a doubt, but we're not in the Champions League. Missing out on that Champions League was major. And what those two teams can offer him is Champions League every season, and also, especially in the case of Manchester City, trophies on a regular basis. Now, I'm not saying that Saka is going to leave. I don't think he's going to leave. I think he will stay at Arsenal. But I really do think that Arsenal need to get a deal tied down with Saka, because if not, we move into this season. Let's say he has a great season and goes away, has a great World Cup, comes back, 1 year left on his deal, with loads of teams coming in, making him mega offers here, there, and everywhere. Arsenal, for me, really need to get a new deal signed with Saka. I said this the other day about Saliba as well. I was like, he's got 2 years left. He's coming back. What if he has a great season? His head could get turned. These are real threats, very real threats, especially when you don't have Champions League football. And also for players like Saka, we need to be putting players in and around these guys that are going to make those players think to themselves, wow, I ain't going nowhere, man. I feel real big things happening at this club. So these are critical times. I think the rumor, when I look at the rumor that's around today around Saka, for me, I've been doing this Transfer Daily for long enough, and I see the trends with these things. England are playing tonight. Saka's an England player. Great story to bring up on a day when England are playing with Saka involved, linking it with moves to Liverpool and City. Fantastic. It sells newspapers. And although, yes, it's probably a bit of a cynical rumor flying around the place, but it's a real problem for Arsenal. We've got to get a new deal done for Bukayo Saka. He's our best player. We can't be messing around with this guy, not tying him down, or we'll end up losing a player of this quality. So I think it's important that we get a new deal done. Now, Arsenal linked today with this guy here. His name's called Nahuel Molina. He's a 24-year-old Argentinian who plays for Udinese, plays as a right back, but can also play on the left as well as a left wing back, can play as a right wing back as well as a right back. As I said, Argentinian international, had a superb season for Udinese. in 35 appearances for them. He scored 7 goals and got 5 assists, and has been really sparking the interest of a lot of clubs around Europe. His manager of the club openly admitted that, listen, we're not going to be able to hold on to him this summer. There's too many teams after him. They've sort of resigned themselves to the fact that they could lose him. Now, Arsenal said to be interested in Molina. Again, we know that the fullback position, I spoke earlier about Zinchenko. We've spoken before over the past couple of days about Aaron Hickey. We know the problems with Tierney. As a matter of fact, when you look at Arsenal last season, it wasn't just Tierney, it was Tomiyasu as well. Tomiyasu was brilliant, but he was literally missing for half the season from January right down. He made a couple of appearances near the end and he still didn't look fully fit. So he had problems. Tierney had problems. Thankfully, like the reports that I saw yesterday, that Tierney should be back in training in July. But Tierney in particular, injury prone. Need to bring in fullback cover. Molina looks like he'd fit the bill perfectly. But again, will Arsenal make a move for him? Again, for me, a Zinchenko who can cover multiple positions, for me, makes perfect sense. Who already knows the Premier League, is already experienced. That would be perfect sense for me. But you've got to keep your options open in this game because, when the transfer window opens, everybody's in. This competition, left, right, and centre, including for this guy, Gabriel Jesus, seemingly the #1 target for Arsenal. Go on their reported fee, 25 million, I think. Better change that. It's 50 million. 40 to 50 million is what is wanted for Jesus right now. He's hot property. We're talking about him literally every day on the show. I said we would. He's going to be sort of the new type of Benzema, Higuain type guy for all the people who followed the Transfer Daily for many times over the years. But there's real competition for him. We're hearing today, Real Madrid, very interested in signing him. Would love, could see him, they look on it and they could see him playing in a free up there with Vinicius on one side, Jesus on the other side, with maybe Benzema through the middle. They're very interested in him. What could slow them up a bit is the fact that, according to La Liga rules, around non-EU players, I think they're over their quota at the moment, although they're trying to get Vinicius to sort of sign up as being a Spanish citizen. I don't think that's happened yet. So that could hinder them from getting that deal done. But they're very interested, according to reports coming out of Spain. So are Atletico. Atletico Madrid, of course, have lost Luis Suarez. Maybe they're looking at it and thinking Jesus teaming up with Griezmann. Plus, as well, for the player himself, #1, if you're his agent, the more teams in for him, the better, because the value goes up, the wages go up, in particular for him. And also the fact that, it makes it, just having attractive options. Who wouldn't want to play for Real Madrid? The amount of times they've won the Champions League, they've just won the league as well. A lot of Brazilians, it's their dream, to play for either Real Madrid or Barcelona. So they're real competition. Hopefully, Edu can use his Brazilian links and the fact that he's Brazilian to try and get it done. Arteta, the fact that he worked with him before at Manchester City. And also, I think what could be strong in Arsenal's favour is that they can say, you're our guy. You're the #1. You're going to be that #9 down the middle. You'll be playing week in, week out. And that might be attractive to a player like Jesus, who's played a lot of bit part football. And remembering this is a World Cup year. And for a player like Jesus, and they're, really patriotic, the Brazilian players, there's nothing they love more than playing for their country. And he's in the squad. If you're playing week in, week out for Arsenal and you're scoring goals, that's going to help you to start for Brazil. If you go to Real Madrid and you're a bit part on the bench and that, there's loads of other Brazilian players of real talent. The Brazilian coach might look at it and say, well, he's hardly playing. Let me move for Rafinha to start, or let me start with, Martinelli. That's the problem you have. So in a World Cup year, all the top players want to be playing week in, week out, want to be having the chance to show their managers that, you know what, I am on fire at the moment. You've got to bring me to the World Cup. So that's another thing that could help to sway it, hopefully, for Arsenal. But again, we're going to keep our eye on it, this one. The window's opening soon. Let's hope that Arsenal can get some activity done. And I think this is one deal that they really need to try and tie down as quickly as possible. So those are the rumors today. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. Get all your notifications straight away on when the show comes up. Also, check out DR Sports if you want. That's the channel that features all football. That it's my other channel. And if you get over onto there, we just started a brand new transfer show on there as well called DR Transfers, that talks about all the transfers of all teams. You may be interested in that one. You can check that one out on there. Thanks for watching the show today, and I'll see you tomorrow.